Today, I want to talk about something that I've struggled with for a very long time now. And I feel like I've spoken about this to literally everyone in my life. Recently, in trying to start a YouTube channel and grow a YouTube channel, I've really struggled with the concept of focusing in on one topic or bringing a level of expertise to YouTube in one thing. I think it was like kindergarten yearbook when I was asked what I wanted to be when I grew up. My answer was, I'll figure that out when I grow up. And I looked through the whole yearbook and everyone else's was like, I want to be a vet. I want to be a police officer. I want to be a doctor. And straight up, that was my answer. And honestly, being in my 30s, I feel the same exact way and I have the same answer. If anyone were to ask me what I wanted to be when I grew up, we can argue whether I'm a grown up or not. I still feel like I'm 12 years old sometimes. I would still say, I don't know. And I think this is really rooted in the fact that I'm such a curious person and I want to delve into all of these different topics and opportunities and new ways of challenging my brain and myself. And I've always really viewed this as a negative thing. I have lived in 4 different cities since graduating college. I've changed careers also 4 different times. And during COVID, I remember sitting down and speaking to my therapist and saying like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Like I can't seem to stick to one city or one job. And at the time, a lot of my friends were in serious relationships. They had stayed in the same place since graduating, which was like a few years at that point. They had moved up the corporate ladder to a higher level position, and that just wasn't me. And her response, and I've like really held on to this, is, you just want to get the most out of this life and you just have so many different curiosities. And it's been a huge point of frustration for me because I think that we as a society, we really value specialists and people who achieve great things in one area of their life. And that is I respect that so much. But when it came down to when I sit down to think about what I really enjoyed doing, there was never just one thing. It was always, well, at this point in my life, I was interested in learning how to drum, so I learned how to play drums. At some point in my life, I wanted to try improv. So I tried improv for a year and a half. I changed careers from fundraising to marketing to software engineering. And there are just so many different areas in my life where I had seen something cool, wanted to do it, initially thought I couldn't do it. Then that was the indicator that I should do it, did it, and wanted to move on to the next thing. And I guess the only theme that I could really find in all of that is that I liked to challenge myself. I liked to be constantly learning and growing and experiencing different places. That sucked, honestly, because I was like, well, how am I going to get really good at something? And how can I teach people on YouTube how to do stuff? And it really came down to, because I had accomplished so much and done all of these things, that I actually had a lot to offer in each of these topics. And one of the main ones being how to actually step out of your comfort zone and do something that you might have been scared of doing and trying something new. I know now moving to new cities is something that's super easy to me, but for a lot of people it's not. So I can turn what I've done and learned from all of these different experiences into really useful content for you all. And this is all to say that if you are someone who gets really down about not having one thing that you feel like you're really good at, or you just can't stick to something, that's okay, right? You'll find things that you do like and that you do stick to. I mean, I love working out, and I only found that out because it was another thing that I wanted to start exploring in my life. And I've stuck to playing the drums because I realized how much I liked performing. And one day I was just on YouTube and I came across this video on this concept of a multi-passionate entrepreneur. And that really resonated with me. And after viewing my multi-passionate self as a negative for so long, I've actually started to view it as a positive. And so I'm here to tell you that if you're going through the same thing, think of this as your superpower. And I'll do another video on a few of these topics, but in general, here are some of the tips that really helped me accept myself as a multi-passionate entrepreneur and continue to achieve the things that I wanted to achieve and pass that along to you. The first thing is let go of the shame. It's okay that you haven't loved running since you were 10 years old and didn't win a gold medal in the Olympics. And that also, by the way, doesn't mean that you can't. I know that there was a woman recently who just decided 6 years ago that she really loved cycling and went the route of cycling and ended up getting a gold medal. It's actually such a beautiful thing that we have so many different interests and curiosities. And through that, you are going to find your consistency. So one, let go of the shame. And through letting go of the shame and allowing yourself to follow these different paths, you will find your consistency in that. I found that there's always a common thread that follows through with all of the interests that I've had. You know, I love performing. I love to try new things, and it led me to actually start this YouTube and my blog. The third thing that I found really useful as a multi-passionate individual was time management. Because we have so many interests, it can be really overwhelming. I know, like, sometimes it's hard for me to sit for more than 10 minutes, honestly, because I'm like, well, I want to do this and I want to do this and I want to do this. And so time management has been so key for me to focus in and actually learn the new things that I want to learn. And I will be releasing a video soon all about time management and how, as a multi-passionate person, I've been able to manage my time well. And as someone who is always on the go, is honestly a New Yorker at heart. Next is break down your interests. Find out why you're interested in these things. And once you define your why, you'll be able to find time during your day to actually do it. Next is focus on your 80-20. Understand how you learn best and apply that to anything that you are trying to learn. Sixth is set structured goals. I know something that's really helped me in the past stick to something for long enough where I felt like I really learned it was finding an end goal. So when I started running, I found a half marathon to sign up for. And that really helps with keeping the momentum going, especially, again, as someone who gets really easily distracted and is constantly trying to switch to the new thing. And lastly, this is something that I'm still figuring out, learn how to rest, because if you are like me, we have trouble resting. It's not easy. I definitely am someone who wakes up at 5 a.m. and I start working and I work out and I go for a walk, and even things like meditating can then start to feel like work. So find ways that you can really relax, because being someone who is multi-passionate can be very tiring. So the purpose of this video is to really talk about how you can start viewing your multi-passionate self as a superpower versus something that's not great or really annoying. I think that if you have many interests, you should explore as many things that you want to, and you don't have to limit yourself to just one thing. And I think it really comes down to these 6 tips. In the past 6 months alone, I have planned a wedding. I've trained for a half marathon. I've learned the drums to perform at my wedding. I got promoted. I continued to strength train and do my workouts on a daily basis. And I still continued my lovely self-improvement journey with meditation and journaling and nature walks. And I'm here to tell you that it's possible to pursue all of your interests. And I think that you don't have to pigeonhole yourself into any one topic. I really have learned to cherish every hour of my day. And that doesn't mean that I don't fall victim to doom scrolling, because that happens a lot. And I love me some Netflix. I've had to develop really great time management skills. I've built habits that last, and I found ways to stay motivated. Okay, we're gonna wrap this one up today. Please let me know in the comments if this is something that resonated with you. Let me know what interests you have, what you're trying to learn. And I will be coming out with a little bit more content about how to manage your time well and how to build habits effectively, so that if you are interested in learning all of these different things in life, you feel like you have the tools to do so.